welcome all of you warmly to LIVE2LEAD 2023. This will be our 7th year hosting LIVE2LEAD.
To me, development is not those and things, but to what extent people will live independent lives so that they can feed, grow, shelter, defend, and protect themselves.
A legacy-minded leader is somebody who looks beyond his own circles, his own self-interest, and even dares to look beyond generations after him.
Then you know the person is a leader, because that's legacy. They are thinking of tomorrow. They've gone beyond today.
I came to this program, LIVE2LEAD 2023, to improve or to add value upon myself. That was my expectation.
If I didn't learn anything, I've learned that leaders pay a price, and it takes paying the price to be a leader and be able to pull others even beyond where you have reached. So yes, it's been a very impactful session.
Sort of amazing. It's been engaging from the morning session up to now. We have learned and are going to impact the next generation. It's a must attend for next year. Join next year and don't miss out. Thank you very much.
Why is LIVE2LEAD important? I think it is embedded in the very name of the conference, LIVE2LEAD. Our purpose as human beings is to lead.
Hello, dear leader. My name is Samuel Eyim, Chief Leadership Coach at the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, CTL Africa. And I have an important invitation for you. Why are some nations developed and thriving, while others are underdeveloped and struggling? Why are some businesses flourishing and others languishing? Why are some churches growing and others dying? These are important questions for leaders. So are you a leader? At what level are you leading? What impact are you making? What is your understanding and concept of leadership? The way you think about leadership is the way you do leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is the cause, all others are the effect. So, at the Center for Transformational Leadership, we've created this program to help you transform your understanding of leadership. This program is going to be based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. As a John C. Maxwell certified coach, I'm going to walk you through these laws, and we're going to give you exercises and activities around these laws to help install a new transforming concept of leadership for you. This will change the way you do leadership completely. So I invite you to check our website and our social media pages and to register for the Leadership Mindset and Heart program. This program is on 2 levels. The first level is understanding the laws of leadership, where we are going to walk you through the laws of leadership in 3 to 5 days. And this will give you the foundations of leadership. The second level is walking the laws of leadership. Here, we take you through a 15-week journey through the laws of leadership. Every week, you will have opportunity to study one law, apply the law throughout the week, meditate upon it, do the exercises, and regroup with other like-minded people who are learning the laws of leadership, exchange ideas, and share your lessons. So do not miss this opportunity. Register now for the Leadership Mindset and Asset program.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm excited to be with you this evening to facilitate this discussion on lessons from Live to Lead. This will be the third week we are from, especially those who were not able to participate in Live to Lead, the opportunity to be able to pick some of the lessons. But the Live to Lead season continues till February. So those of you who are interested in getting the full Live to Lead, we have opportunity to rebroadcast it for you. And even for individuals, you have opportunity to have a full virtual pack to the Live to Lead 2023 sessions. So welcome to the Leadership Platform. We have amazing people who participated in Live to Lead and who are here this evening to share their learnings with all of us. As those of you who have joined in the past couple of weeks, you know that, listening to what people have learned is as if you are sitting in Live to Lead again. Sometimes the things they learned, you're not sure if you were in the room, but they're here to share with us. So share the link with your friends, your colleagues, and invite them to join the platform. I know that there are so many of you who join and who don't introduce yourselves, but it is our pleasure to introduce you to the world. So kindly, share with us your name and where you are joining from, and we'll be very happy to announce you to the world. I can see Douglas Amwate is here from Tema. He says good evening to us. I see William Darfo, also from Tema, says good evening. Says great to be here to learn once again. All right, so nobody, those of you who normally join and don't introduce yourself, we know you are there. Go ahead and connect, send us a message, and let's know you are also here. Now we also have Sarah Giuseppia on the line. She's going to join in the facilitation. Hey Sarah, how are you?
Hi everyone, great to be here this Saturday again to learn, relearn, and unlearn.
Wonderful. So we have three amazing ladies and a great gentleman, and I would like for us to bring all of them on stage so they can tell us a bit more about themselves. We have great professionals here. We have a school proprietor here training children and doing other amazing things. We have a chartered accountant here. We have a registered pharmacist here, and we have an IT professional here. So diverse groups of professionals were at Live to Lead, as you can see, and this is just a sample for this evening, and they are here to share with us. So we will just let each one of them introduce themselves. Then after that, we'll take them one by one. They will share their lessons for like 10 minutes. And then after each have had opportunity to share, we'll bring them back again together. And then we would have a tete-a-tete with them. So, Sarah, let's start going. Who is going first?
I think we'll start with our ambassador, our standing ambassador, who is, she knows herself. She's smiling. So go for it. She was here last
Great,
year as well, so you go for it.
great. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I don't take it for granted, and I'm very happy to be here this evening. My name is Audrey Sewabonsu. I'm a Ghanaian registered pharmacist. Been practicing for a little over a decade now. I'm into consultancy and a bit of commercialization with regards to pharmaceutical products. I facilitate and I'm more into mentorship and capacity building. Because I believe in lifelong learning and also, helping the people younger than us. So I host this program called the Pharma Youth Mentorship. And going into next year, I'm looking at opening it up to, health professionals and then eventually all professionals. I serve on a couple of boards, Pharma Trust Professional Institute, and then there's this pharmacy called Vic Ave Pharmacy. Aside that, I'm also very active in our pharmacy association. I am the mentorship coordinator for our Lady Pharmacists Association, and then the Greater Accra treasurer for the association, and then in part of some committees, that is the employment committee, the regulatory committee, and then also the capacity building committee. I hold an MPhil in pharmacology and MA in international relations, migration, and health studies. And also, I am contemplating, I'm looking, maybe I may do a top up from D or a PhD. I am single and I have an adopted daughter. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Audrey. And I think I'll move now to Failatu. Failatu, the space is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, CTL Africa, for this opportunity. My name is Failatu Abdulmumin. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I work with International Community School as the accounts manager. I love to learn about leadership. I've been following the leadership platform for a while, and attending this year's LIVE2LEAD was a transforming opportunity for me. And I'm glad that I'm here to share with you some of the things I learned. Thank you.
Thank you, Failatu. And our lady Gifty, who is training the future leaders. To you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm really honored for this great opportunity to share what I learned during the Live to Lead program. It was really insightful and impactful. Who is Gifty? What do I do? I run a school called Sparkling Jewels International School. It's a school that very soon many will be running to. And I also have an NGO called Radiant Parenting, and we are focused on purposeful and intentional parenting. Why? Because we believe that good parenting doesn't happen in a vacuum. It has to be planned, it has to be intentional, and it has to be purposeful. I also am into manufacturing and production of probiotic yogurt and household detergents. Thank you for this wonderful and great opportunity.
Thank you. So, Sam, I leave you to introduce our gentleman for the day.
Great. Great. We have one gentleman here among the ladies. Alex Ansan is here from Heritage Christian University. Alex, please tell us a bit more about yourself.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, CTL Africa and the team. My name is Alex Ansa. I am an IT professional, as you said. I've been in IT for a while now, somewhere around 2001, 2002. I started my IT journey. So some experience under my belt. I have a degree in computer science, an MPhil in MIS, Management Information Systems, and then I have a PhD in education from the University of Education, Winneba, and just completed another one with KNUSTS, MSc in cybersecurity. I have participated in many IT trainings and workshops, and I possess some professional certificates in IT. I have worked at the Regent University College of Science and Technology as an IT officer in the past. I also worked there as a teaching assistant. I have worked for the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection as an IT consultant for the World Bank. I last worked at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology as an IT officer. Currently, I work with the Heritage Christian University College, one of the leading private universities in Ghana, making waves as the head of IT support unit. I am married, so that is a brief about me, sir.
Awesome.
Wonderful,
Okay.
wonderful, wonderful. Good. Sarah, take us away. Who is kicking the ball?
Let me see who. I think the ambassador, our ambassador for the second time, will kick us off, and then she will be followed by Failatu, and then Gifty, and then we have Alex in that order. So over to
Great.
you. Yeah,
Great.
Audrey.
Good evening again. And maybe it's good I'm starting because then I can differentiate between. Last year I was part of the LIVE2LEAD virtual, and this time I participated in person. And I would say that the difference is vast. The experience, the in-person experience was exponential. It was different because then, I mean, you get to meet some of your role models you see on TV, hear about in person. Aside that, you are together with like-minded people because everyone in there is so focused on, getting all the necessary information or the being impacted or imbibed with knowledge and skills and all of the experience. And aside that, you as an individual, I mean, you are there, you've paid so much, you are there and you are focused because sometimes when you're doing some things virtual, you can just switch, look at your phone a bit, go and do some things, mute yourself, blah, blah, blah. But then because you were there in person, all your focus, all your attention was there. So it made some of us, okay, so for me personally, I was able to max out more this time being in there in person compared to when I joined virtually last year. So even though I went back to watch the replays, I feel that I took in a bit more when I attended in person. All right, so then I would load up my slides and then share my experiences. So I'm Audrey Sawabunso. I already mentioned that I'm a consultant and a commercial pharmacist. So for starters, I thought I should be able to, okay, then maybe this is how I can use it. All right. So as I said, it was a great experience and I really, really recommend this for anyone and everyone who aspires to become a leader. And I mentioned earlier that the in-person experience was exceptional and a totally new experience. And it's once again, I'll definitely recommend it because then there was direct interaction with our role models. There was non-destructive and you were also there with and interacting and meeting like-minded people. So for me, oh shit, I thought I posted this. Oh, okay, then I think I can't use my slides. I got the impression I'll be able to, but then, sorry, let me pull it down so that I will just speak from my personal experience. Sure. So listening to both local and international versions or people who shared their experiences, I would say that I noticed some trend among everyone who spoke. And I'm going to take it from that angle, where I'm going to share my lessons across board from everyone based on these three things. So first of all, I noticed that there's a story behind the glory that most of the time we just enjoy or we see the glory or we see the person being celebrated. But when you get to interact with the person shares his or her story, you realize that the journey was not a smooth one. It was murky. It was messy. It had different levels to it. I mean, there were times the person wanted to give up. There were times tears were shed. And I could personally relate. And I said, oh, that means what I'm personally going through is not any different from what these people have gone. And that became more encouraging, because then that means that it's not a 0 to 1, but then there are so many, different stories, valleys, troughs, peaks, high moments, low moments within the journey that people end up celebrating. And I saw that all through, because I remember even John Maxwell said, if we had watched him the first day he did a presentation, or he spoke, or he did a public speaking, we would have been surprised that we would have said, you are not good at all. But now look at him, he's done it over 50 years, and we celebrate him as one of the acclaimed or world accomplished speakers, public speakers, that he even has a book now on communications and all of that. And so I said, wow, I mean, we look at people like Giftianti, Prof. Prof is, because I'm in the health professional, he's one of our celebrated, leaders. Prof. Frimpong Boateng, I mean. And when I listened to his story, at a point I was getting goosebumps, because I saw the challenges that he had to go through and face. And I said, oh, wow, if he did this and went through it, then I am encouraged. With even Neil, with Kendra Scott, and all of the people that share their experience, this is one thing that I saw running through them. The second thing I also saw was that every one of them had mentors. There's a quote that says that we are the products of the 5 people that we spend the average time with. There are 5 people that we spend most of our time with. And so then that means that our association influences us. As we said, right from Prof, all through Neil, through Kendra, through John C. Maxwell, you can tell that people and mentors and people had greatly influenced them. John Maxwell, because of course he's the one who is the head of all of this, said that be intentional and surround yourself with people with great minds, great ideas, and people that would greatly influence you. Neil said, ask yourself, who put you through this door? And then, I mean, we all got thinking, oh, by virtue of this person, we are here. By virtue of this person, we are at this conference and here and there. Kendra even said her baby gave her this level of, encouragement at the verge of when she was about to give up. And that next person she went to, because her baby, was all bubbly and gave her some encouragement, gave her the next seal and made her encouraged to continue with, the Kendra Scott that we now hear about. Giftianti talks about her dad, growing up with her dad, and her dad really, motivating her and making her believe in herself and making her that resolute person that we've seen her become over the period. And so I just said, oh, wow, that means that we need to be intentional about the people that, because we are aspiring to become leaders, who is around us, both in person, virtually, who is influencing us, who are we listening to, who, whose advice do we take, who do we run to when we have, thought buggling ideas that we want to share with, because everyone's conversation, everyone's input is influencing us in the great and near future. Thirdly, I would say that, I even wanted to make a point on Prof. Frimpong that he also made that this German person took him, when he went for the interview, he took him up and then gave him the opportunity to study abroad. That's in Germany, became a cardiologist because of this man, and has come down and, was able to build Kolebu. Even in that struggle, he met someone called P.V. Obey, who was instrumental in making some governmental, interventions for him here and there. And by virtue of that, the Kolebu Thoracic Center, Cardiothoracic Center, has been formed, and that still remains one of the flagship or the units that, when it comes to cardio-related issues or thoracic-related issues, everyone goes there. And it tells us that we should be, moving forward, become very intentional. So I remember after the conference, I started looking at who do I talk to every day? I mean, is this person a role model? Is this person going to influence me? Do I like him or her advice, and then person's lifestyle to influence me in the person I want to become? And so this was one of my big takeaways. And then the third thing was the fact that if you aspire to become a leader, or you want to be being a leader or leading with a legacy, comes with sacrifices. It means that you need to lead or live beyond you. And everyone talked to some extent about going beyond you, sacrificing beyond you. I remember listening to Techi saying that, I mean, the ZPay CEO saying that he thinks about his workers, his employees. He thinks about his team. That means that he's going beyond him. He's trying to solve a problem in Africa, solving a problem in Ghana and Africa, looking beyond, going to see how can he bring the knowledge and experiences that he's had in the fintech world to be able to impact to the environment he finds himself in. Same way with Prof, same way with Gifty, same way with Kendra. They all have value systems that live beyond them and want to leave a legacy that transcends them. So I think that if we are all aspiring to become leaders, because of course that is why we joined CTL in their programs, that's why we even participated in Live2Lead 23, is because we all want to become leaders. And I think one major mantra we have to work with is to live beyond us and live a sacrificial life. So I think that these are the three main takeaways. And of course, there was an outlier in all of this, and that was from Marcus Beckenham, who talked about, leading with love. Leading with love. And that means that so I remember when he just said it, immediately the scripture, forgive me, the Muslims, I am Christian, so I'm a bit biased there. What came to my mind was John 3:16, and it says that because God loved us, he loved the world, so he gave us his son. So it tells us that right from the person, as Christians, our leader, our coach, or the person who is our God, says that he loved us and so he gave us. So that tells us that if you want to be a leader, or you want to be an exceptional leader, it's leading with love. That should be the fundamental or the basis for everything that we do. And he says, once that becomes your focal point, or that becomes what your fundamentals or your basis is, it makes you stand out, because then the entire process or the entire value chain of or whatever experience you want to give to your client, because you're making love the center or the focal point, you will see that every point you want to make sure that, is this person going to have this experience in this point, in this entry point, in this place, in this place, in this place, in the entire trajectory throughout the client's experience. And I was like, oh, wow, that means in my personal business, I should be intentional about putting love before everything else, so that, I mean, at the end, the client or the customer will say that, thank you for this experience. And I believe that this is what CTL does for us, and John C. Maxwell through his Live2Lead experiences, because all through, I remember even his reaction when the mic wasn't working. He just took it lightly, and then he says, is this a cheap thing? Can we? He made light of the whole process, because then he wanted to ensure that the experience for everyone was the best. And I feel that these are some of the takeaways I personally had, and listening to the previous weeks, those who shared, it keeps adding on. And thank you, Coach, once again, and thank you, all of us, and thank you once again for the opportunity.
Excellent. Great. Three big points. Thank you so much, Audrey. We'll come back to you with the questions after the other presenters have come on. So the next person that we'll have will be Failatu. Failatu, over to you. You have the space.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm not sure if my slides are showing. Please, are my slides visible? Okay. All right. So, Lead to Lead, as I already mentioned, was a transformational experience for me. This was my first time attending. Last year, I did not attend. I listened to speakers express their experience and then learn from it. And I was really, really, really happy that I was able to be part of this year's Lead to Lead. So today I want to share just our 4 main points out of the many things that I learned. I'm only able to put that. So I'm going to share my takeaways from the panel discussions, and then some takeaways from John Maxwell, a takeaway from Ryan Leake, and then a takeaway from Marcus. So with the panel discussions were with Ohiniri Giftianti and then Mr. Techia Pia of ZP. Now, Giftianti said a lot, but what really struck me was when she said a statement her dad made to her, that you are a failure if you allow other people to make the same mistakes you made and suffer the same things you suffered. Now, as in our day-to-day living, we seem to find it difficult to express our experiences, sometimes due to self-condemnation, or we may not have recovered from the pain, or we trivialize our experiences. But when she made that statement, it really drew my mind to an experience I had personally with my junior brother. I remember I used to be ashamed of it. My mother used to say that my grades from secondary school were weak, so it was like my shame. I used to cover it. But then I applied for a job some time ago and everything was okay, but they said some of my grades from secondary school were weak and they really did consider basic grades, not just the professional level. So it was something that really pained me. And at that time, my junior brother was in SS1. So I called him when he came for midterm. I called him to my room and I told him that make sure you are making only A's and B's because this is what I have experienced. And irrespective of coming out with a first class from the university or having a chartered, a professional certificate from the Institute of Chartered Accountants, I've been denied this opportunity because of my experience from secondary school. And by that conversation, I was able to defeat that kind of setback happening again in our family. Said that my brother was able to pick up his academics. He came out with very good grades. And when Ohiniri mentioned it, my mind really went back to that experience and how often we overlook these things and allow people to suffer. You know, it's not really about helping somebody with money, but sometimes just words, providing guidance. Reading a book, we may not be able to write books. Not everyone can write a book, but if you pick a book, that is like 10 years of somebody's life that you have the opportunity to learn from within an hour or two. And that is what we should all aim at as human beings. So I learned from Ohinere that you conquer any situation in life when you bring the victory lessons from them. So the victory lessons are those that will help other people to be blessed and to live life better than we did as individuals. And I've made up my mind from Live to Lead that from these statements from Ohinere, I'm going to do more and not really take myself so seriously. I believe God doesn't get surprised with anything that we do. He knows all our imperfections. And so if you are able to gather the courage to share whatever it is in life you have experienced, good or bad, allow people to learn from it and help them to hop and do better than you did. Now, with what Andrew Techi said, it's something I'm still digesting. He said that I have the ability to press on, that the storm defines who you are. Now, that statement really struck me because many of times we go through life, I have very personal experiences. And nowadays, I used to call myself a predator. I said I didn't want to be a prey anymore because the storms of life had really hardened me. And when he made that statement, I asked myself if I really wanted to be that hardened because I had become so hardened that sometimes I wasn't sure if I felt any emotion at all. So when he made that statement, for me, Live to Live was about my personal growth. So everything was about me and how I could be a better person. Now, these storms of life hit us here and there, and sometimes we pick very negative lessons from them, and other times you're able to come out well. So from my personal experience, the storms in my life have done me a lot of good, but then I have not been able to handle some very well. So the definition that I'm getting of me is more negative than I would have preferred. So Andrew Techi's statement really, really hits me, and I'm still digesting it. I'm trying to melt the ice around me to stop being a predator and allow myself to be preyed at once in a while, because it's all part of life, and allow the storms to really do a good job on me. I mean, thinking that I've become tougher now doesn't really benefit me as a person, because previously I would have defined myself as a very sweet and easygoing person. Then storms come in, they hit me, they define me, and I think I'm okay. But when he made that statement, I realized I wasn't really okay, that I needed to look more and deeper into myself and see what I am doing. And my next lesson was from John C. Maxwell. He talked about so he spoke about highway leadership, and he mentioned a few points about how to practice highway leadership. Now, I value all people is a statement that's very common. To value all people, everybody says it in almost everywhere you go. People mention about valuing all people, but he puts a different perspective to it. So what John C. Maxwell said about valuing all people was that the people who are different from you have something to add to you if you will be able to look at their difference in a positive way. So that is a lesson for me as a person, and it's helping me with my work at the office. People, not everybody is as fast as I am. Not everybody can maybe work as long as I'm able to work, but then everybody seems to have something good from a different perspective. The person's inability to do something also adds to the spice in the work environment. And he also mentioned that acknowledging your humanness. Now, as human beings, I think I loved that part because it's about being me and being myself in every situation that I am. I mean, I can make mistakes and be comfortable doing it. And as a leader, you need to acknowledge that you are as human as the people you are working with. And sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you fall, sometimes you rise. Not everything will go well with you. You may not plan to be angry, but something could upset you, upset the humanness. And when people know that you are comfortable with your imperfections, it also makes them comfortable being around you, because everybody wants to feel easy and comfortable. Everybody wants to feel that they fit in. So acknowledging your humanness will help to get the people around you feel comfortable and feel loved working with you. And he also mentioned that another way of practicing high road leadership is to be accountable for your actions. And on being accountable for your actions, he advised that you look for someone in your life, be it on your job or in your personal space, that you can let help you to be accountable. So someone that knows your plans, is able to follow up on the plans that you have said you've made, and then the actions that you've taken. Someone who is able to call you to order if you are missing the way. So those are a few things I can mention about what I picked from John C. Maxwell. He really spoke a lot about highway leadership. Now, the enthusiastic speaker was Ryan Leake, and his speech on chasing failure was interesting. Yeah, but one of the points he mentioned was that failure loses its punch in community. And so we should foster failure-friendly environments. Yeah, so Here, the understanding I got from it and the lesson I got from it is that you need to build a group in which you have people who are like-minded. So it could be maybe a group of people who watch the same podcasts you watch, who join the same associations you join, or read the same books that you read. So failure will lose its punch in that if you are with people who are like-minded, what may look like a really damning failure could be something they will help you pick lessons from and see it as a learning experience and rather not a failure. Now, Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, mentioned something about a mastermind group. I mean, an alliance of people who have the same plans as you do. With my experience after my ICA final exam, I had the opportunity to practice as a teaching assistant in one of the tuition providing institutes. So what I experienced on the professional side was this. So the person takes the exam, is unable to pass the exam, and then calls back. And you will not see the person again until a year's time, and the person is coming to take that same paper. So when I listened to Ryan Lee's, I reflected on that and I saw the impact that it had on all the people who came for lessons and didn't come again because they couldn't pass that particular exam. So the community will help you to pick up the pieces. And also, as a person, sometimes the community is not something you really have to build. The community may be existing, but you as the individual have to make yourself available. We are, as human beings, we are fan of, say, closing up anytime we feel we have failed at something. It's either we don't want people to know about the failure, or we are too ashamed to admit that we've actually failed in an activity or a task. And so we call back, hide ourselves. In Robert Greene's book, 48 Laws of Power, he mentioned that do not build fortresses to protect yourself because isolation is dangerous. In isolation, you can break. In isolation, you can get depressed. In isolation, it's difficult to pick yourself back. But the example I gave, being a student trying to take your ICA exam, if you wrote an exam and you didn't pass, you come back to class, you find about 15, 20 more people who took that same exam and didn't make it. It's easy to laugh about it. You learn about your mistakes, you get over it, and then you move on. So that's what I learned from Ryan Leek about building a failure-friendly environment, which would help us and reduce the punch of failure in our lives. Now, with my lesson from Marcus was, you cannot have love in everything you do, but you need to find love in specific tasks you do. And again, as I mentioned, it was a personal thing for me. So I didn't know how to define this experience. I didn't know how to define this feeling that I had anytime I was working, but there were certain tasks in my role that really, really drained me because I found them boring. But there were some that when I had to do them, I could actually do them throughout the night. I could work through the night up to daybreak and I wasn't feeling tired. But so when he spoke, I was able to relate to that. I reflected on it and I now put a lot of energy in those things. So as an accountant, when it comes to certain activities like reporting or reconciliations, I love the investigating part. I enjoy the fact that I'm communicating a certain information to somebody. Someone is going to use what I'm doing to take a decision. So that is the part of my job that I really love. So when I listened to him speak, he spoke a lot about love. I learned a lot about it, but what I'm sharing today is this particular one because it really hits me. So I, as a person, have now realized that the feeling I have is because I'm able to find love in that particular activity. And so I'm actually putting in more energy in it, loving it more, and letting it put the love in what I do so that I'll be the best I can be. I think he gave examples of people who worked in a hotel and they had various activities in their daily role that they really loved to do that made them the best in their hotels. And I picked that and I'm working on that. So I love to reconcile. I love to prepare reports, but I don't like the routine ones. They are boring. But this is my lesson from Marcus, that we should identify a task in your job, no matter how tedious or how stressful the work is. Identify that task that you can really, really do with love. You love it. It flows with your personal mindset, your curiosity, and then work harder at it so that you can holistically have a loving job to go to every morning. Thank you.
Sarah, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Great takeaways. Thank you. I muted. Yeah, sorry. And great takeaways, and we'll come back to you. But to our viewers, what we would like you to do is, as you listen to each of the takeaways, please put in your comments and as well as your questions so that we can take it up as soon as we are done with the two remaining speakers. I think Gifty is next in line. So Gifty, if we can have you on the line. Thank you. Over to you, Gifty.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening to everyone. And once again, thank you for this great opportunity. Please, can I have my slides? I think some of the things I would like to say have been said already, but so I will not talk much. I learned a lot from Professor Frimpong Boateng, and I like his zeal, his tenacity. Can I have the next slide, please? He withstood a lot of challenges to get to where he is now. And he was not just thinking about himself as we usually do. He thought about generations and the betterment of our healthcare system. Because when I listened to him, he narrated how he suffered, how they didn't have apartments of their own. They had to stay in various apartments from time to time, and they had to be moved, relocating every now and then for years. And why would he want to do all that? It's because he had a dream. There were roadblocks on the way, yet he didn't give up. He stood his ground, and today we are all beneficiaries of his legacy. So that makes me to understand that life is not just about us, but it's about other people. So one statement he made that stood with me was, anything worth pursuing must be pursued. If there's anything worth pursuing, the obstacles should not deter us. We should go all out and pursue them. Then the panel discussion sometimes I mix up. One of the things I learned about what a legacy is building a legacy means to think about tomorrow. So it's not about us, it's about tomorrow. It's about the future, it's about children, children's children. And it says legacy minded leadership looks beyond his own cycle. In the kind of system we are in, we are always thinking about me, myself, and our family. But somebody who is a legacy driven, focused, directed, and led person, that person thinks beyond his immediate cycle but looks forward to the betterment of society and the next generation. The legacy minded leader looks beyond himself. Legacy minded leader does not give up easily. That spelling is wrong. Easily. The obstacles will come and they are meant to come. That's why somebody said that tough times never last, but tough people do. You have to be toughened. Then Gifty Auntie or any Gifty Auntie, I learned a lot. And what the first speaker said resonated so well with me. Getting up close with her helped me to appreciate her better, the struggle she went through. Yeah, she defied all the odds. And today, every now and then, we are celebrating her. So there's a need for us to persevere because there's light at the end of the tunnel. And the boss himself, the Uboro, John C. Maxwell, he spoke a lot about leadership. One thing he said is that everyone deserves to be led well. And leadership starts first with us and starts with our immediate family. And as a mother, I need to give my children good leadership as a school leader, a business owner, and as a church leader for that matter too. My followers they deserve to be led well. And if some of these statements stick with us as a nation, if the whole nation, the leadership thinks this way, then I believe we would go very far, because today, MPP, their primaries, I'm sure by now the results will be out, and a lot has gone in, but are they thinking about leading and leading well, or just about grabbing positions and amassing wealth at the expense of the whole nation? That's it. Then he also said that high role leadership is when you make things happen for other people. So it's not just about you, but it's about other people. And that's why the Lord Jesus said that you shall what? Love your neighbor as yourself. We have to be other people led, other people focused, not just about me. And he said also that immature people only see things from their perspective, because one thing can be seen from diverse perspectives, and at the end, it brings better understanding, because I'm looking at it from one angle, you're also looking at it from another angle. And if we come to a consensus, at the end, we all get a better understanding. But sometimes when we are immature, this is how I'm looking at it, and mine is the best, and that can be problematic. He also said that high role leadership requires servant leadership. We have to be servant leaders. Then Marcus Buckingham, one thing he said that we have strategy for a lot of things in our organizations, but he said when it comes to love, we have a strategy for love. And love is the key force. Love is a driving force. So we should not just be concerned about figures, but we should have strategies to deploy love in our organizations. Yes, that's all that I can say for now. Thank you so much once again, CTL, for this opportunity. I'm grateful.
Great.
Wow.
Succinct, straight to the point. You can see the proprietor of a school teacher here, right? Thank you so
Auntie
much.
Sarah.
Thank you so much. So
You're
let's,
welcome.
yeah. Sam, would you bring on Alex to do us the
Oh,
honors?
all right. So Alex is here. Alex, the stage is
Yes.
yours. The ladies have done all the job. You can now come
Yes.
and eat the food.
Yes. Thank you so much. The ladies have done all the talking, and then touch on all the salient points. I would please, can I have my slide? I must say that I was really, really motivated at the 2023 Live to Lead program. It was just mesmerizing. In fact, right at the entrance, I was amazed at the organization, the way the ushers were so professional and smiling. It was just touching. And coming from my institution, I knew some of them, so I don't know. It added something extra to the feeling, and also the great panel, the inspiring stories. Um, so yes, I think the previous speakers have touched on a lot of the things I want to speak about, so I'll skip most of them. But from John Maxwell's High Road Leadership, one thing that touched me was that you would be tested before trusted. I thought it was great. It spoke to me, something things that are happening now in my professional life, my family life, and home, getting married and all that. It just touched me that trust is something you need to earn. It does not just come on a silver platter. You need to work for it. So it really that's one thing that touched me. And then the second point, how well you lead determines how well you succeed. I thought that was also very profound. And the contents in which he put it, making us understand that it's not just having a leadership role in your offices that makes you a leader, but all of us, one way or the other, are leading lives that people may want to emulate. You may not know it, but you are leading. And so it helps if you are mindful and conscious of it so that you lead well for others to follow. And then one thing he also touched on, everything rises and falls with leadership. This is something John Maxwell has touched on many years. But the way he came again with it and then reconfirmed it, he said that if he had said this thing over the years for a very long time, but now he can tell you now more than ever that it is true. And I felt it. I mean, if somebody has tested something over the years and he's telling you that after going through the meal, after trying it and over, I can still confirm to you that this thing still holds. Spoke to me. And so it just touched me on how essential leadership is and how everything within an organization or within a setting can rise and fall with leadership. Also, one thing that touched me was choose collaboration bias over confirmation bias. So we spoke about confirmation bias. Leaders usually want to surround themselves with people who will just be singing their praises and tell them, oh, everything is okay, you're a good leader. But then we should, as leaders, strive to choose what he termed as collaboration bias. I mean, people may not necessarily agree with you, but once what they are saying is the right thing, you should aim at collaborating with them instead of just wanting people who will just be confirming what you think or what you assume is right. And then he used the Abraham Lincoln example where he said Abraham Lincoln never tried to win public opinion. He never defended himself when people insulted him. He always went extra mile to defend his generals when they fail or they fail at a particular instance. He ran an open door system where anybody at all, even the most least person in the organization, can walk to his office and then he can get feedback from him. And then one thing he said, Abraham Lincoln, after coming to power, made sure that his cabinet was just the best mind. And so it didn't matter whether you were his opponent, you contested against him, or his friend. You must be the best person for the role to be chosen. And I felt that really was significant. And then also, it says high road leaders must have a servant mentality. I thought that was great. And so you must know that as a leader, your role is not to lord over the people you have been put in charge of, but then you're actually supposed to serve them. And I thought that was great. And I actually tied that with something Mr. Andrew Techi said. Techi Appiah he says, be humble, swallow your pride. And he gave a very amazing story where he was working with his boss. He saw an opportunity, took the opportunity, and then unfortunately the opportunity did not work out. He was in a fix because he needed money, he needed to care for his family, he needed to fend for them. And so he had to swallow his pride. He could have just gone home and pretend like, oh, I can survive. But he picked the phone that particular moment, called his previous boss, and told him what had happened. His boss listened to him and then just told him, pick up your jacket, come to the office tomorrow, and pretend as if nothing has happened. The fact that he admitted this was a lot of shame, but he had to swallow it. And so I took a great lesson. As a leader, there are certain times you'd have to swallow your pride. If you are wrong, you admit that you are wrong. If you need to ask for something, you are not a repository for all knowledge. And so he just spoke to me, be humble and admit when you do not know something. And then from Marcus Beckingham, frankly, I must say that he was one of the people who had a huge impact on me. Once I left the program, I just kept thinking about what he said. And he spoke about why we do what we do. He says, in fact, the first thing that really touched me is that he drew a direct link between love and leadership. And it just caught me by surprise. I've never for once felt that in an official setting, or if you are leading as you are in work. Well, I located in an office setting. You are leading some group of people. There's actually a love relationship between you and the people you are leading. So it actually touched me. And the way he defined love as a deep and unwavering commitment to the flourishing of human. And so I connected to it. I mean, your role as a leader is to get people to be better of themselves, to move from where they are to where they ought to be. And if you think about it very well, underneath that is the love factor. You really have to have some affection for them for you to be able to do well as a leader. And I thought that was very inspiring. And then the next point says people are different, but you don't have to love them differently. You need to love all of them the same. You must acknowledge that not everybody thinks like you, not everybody acts like you. People have different backgrounds and they are different. But your job as a leader is to love all of them. I thought that was profound as well. And then also, I think most the two previous speakers have already touched on this. You need to find love in what you do. So I'll skip it. I thought that was also very profound. Without love, you become exploitative and transactional leader. I thought that was very, very deep. And that you could be a leader and be churning out the numbers, achieving the results. But if you are not very careful, if you don't do all this with love, then you are just exploitative. You are just transactional. You are leading and making people churn out the results, but there's no connection. And so I thought that was also very, very deep. And actually, one thing he also says, if you cannot lead with love, don't lead at all. And it just hit me. So if you may be leading and be delivering results and be, but inside you, if you don't do it with love, you feel that emptiness where you have a team that achieves a lot, but then aside that, there's no relationship between the team and it's just exploitation. People using exploiting each other and then becoming transactional. So I thought that was also very profound. And then one thing I also took out, I think the first time or during the discussion session, one thing Professor Watson said, I think it was one of the early statements where he said in his high school, he went to his headmaster and asked him, what are the rules for the school? And the headmaster said, a breach of common sense is a breach of school rules. I just felt that was also very deep. So I sort of coined it, modified it, and wrote it in my diary. A breach of common sense is a breach of life rules. And I think it's deep. I mean, things that go against common sense should speak to you. So it's also something that hit me. Ryan Leake spoke about failure. I think previous speakers have touched on it. He said, fail as early as you can, as cheap as you can. Foster a failure-friendly environment. It's been touched on. And then he also touched on how you get into the room. And so he gave a story of how through connections and really not through any extraordinary work of his, he was able to get opportunity to speak at a very high platform like the LIVE2LEAD. And then he gave a history, how people just connected him. And then he touched on the fact that as leaders, our role is to make sure that we lead in a way that will get people into the room, people the opportunity to become better, people the chance to showcase what they can do or what they have. And then failure loses its grip when you keep moving. I thought that was also very, very touching. It says failure is actually designed to make you give up. Don't. And so when you fail in life, it's actually designed to make you give up. But once you keep moving, failure eventually loses its grips. I thought that was also very, very deep. And then one thing I learned from Professor Watson was also that people can sabotage you. And so it's good to trust people, it's good to believe in people, it's good to give people opportunities, but you need to be vigilant and you need to be wise. And I was particularly amazed at the story Professor Watson shared. I mean, the fact that some people were willing to sabotage human lives, make people die. I mean, temper with the machinery he was using so that some people start dying for Professor Barton to become discredited. And it just shocked me how the human mind, a human being could be so callous sometimes. And so, yes, you need to trust people, you need to give people opportunity, but you should not do that. You should do that with vigilance and you should be wise when you are doing that. And then, so concluding, the things I picked up personally, you would find whatever you look for in people. And so if you are working with a team, whatever you want to find, you would find. If you want to find the best out of them, they will give you the best. If you want to find the worst out of them, that's exactly so essentially what you go looking for is what you find. And so it pays to look for the best so you could find it. And then one thing I also took from the program, to be great, you need to hang out with great people. I think that was also good. And then he gave the instance of the eagle and the hippo mentality, touched on the fact that as humans, we all have our eagle times where we are soaring and making great achievements, but we also have our hippo times where we behave like hippopotamus. We are in the gutters, things are not going well. But it takes both of these worlds for you to become a great leader. And you must accept both of them with eagerness and then work with them. And then separate your gifts from you. I think that was also great. People will be praising you and telling you you look good, you are amazing. But most times, what they're actually saying is that your gifts are great. You do what you know how to do well, and so you should know when to separate the gifts you have, which really are gifts given to you by God. It's not really because you are a superhuman being, but they are just gifts. So you should know when to separate your gifts from you yourself. Be accountable to someone. I think it's been touched on, so I'll just move on. And then he also said accountability is what closes the gap between intentions and results. So you may have good intentions, but good intentions are worthless. It does not mean anything. And he actually touched on how we judge people based on their output and results, but we judge ourselves based on our intentions. So if you don't do well, you think, oh, it's because you are busy or you are tired. But if someone doesn't do well, it's because the person is a failure. I mean, as a leader or to be a good leader, you must be mindful of some of these things. And the last thing I've touched on is that the more you do, the more you fail. But the more you fail, the more you get opportunity to learn. And obviously, the more you learn, the better you become. And so, in summary, this is what personally I took out from the 2023 Live to Lead program. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you to all four of you. Amazing takeaways. And I can't believe I was at the same event, but notes that I took are different and you brought a different perspective. So thank you to Audrey, to Failatu, to Gifty, and to Alex. So can we bring all of you back onto the screen? I'll start first picking up the questions. No, Sam will pick up the questions on the chat. So please start putting your comments and questions on the chat. Whilst I start first with fielding the question with, first of all, with Audrey. Audrey, you spoke a lot, and the three great points. I took notes this time. I took notes very well. So I have just one question for you because you are so many, so we can give opportunities to everyone. So you did talk about the fact that you could see that all of them are having a sort of value system. So for you personally, what is the value system after Live to Lead that you have started putting in place? If you could share that with us.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for the question. And so for starters, I started looking around my association and then checking to see who adds value to me, who has skills, or who shows signs of a leader, or who has the role model skills that I want to emulate. And I mean, unfortunately, I had to drop some people out and, put it as one credit spend less time, relatively less time with them, because I've seen that we become a product of our association, and it's about being intentional about them. So that's the first thing. The second thing I told myself I had to start doing is to now, how should I put it? Because I want to give a good experience, if there are some things I would have to outsource so that the client gets the best experience. Because, I mean, as Marcus said, it's something you should love. And of course, we can't love everything within the value that we give to our clients. And so because you want to give that experience, as much as possible, identify which ones I can outsource so that once that for all you know, that will be the person's love part and give of the person's best. And then the person will be able to also collaboratively give the client the best. So I'm saying that. And I'm encouraged that all I'm going through is going to make the pie a sweet one at the end eventually. Thank you.
Excellent, great. And last but not the least is your comparison between the in-person one experience and then the online experience. So I'm just encouraging everybody in Ghana, reach out to Sam, have
Yeah.
that in-person experience. Live to Lead is still ongoing up to the end of February. So as Audrey said, in-person experience is really, really great. You get to network better.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see with Failatu. Failatu, for you, I think this is, since you said it was really a personal development journey for you at Live to Lead. What are you doing now, or what is the plan that you have in place to continue with your journey of melting that ice that you said you had around you, for you not to be a predator?
Okay. Well, first I realized I had to heal and let go of some things. Yes. And stop being picky about, yeah, but generally I have people that I listen to. Joyce Meyer, I'm big on her because she speaks a lot about her own pain and how she's been able to allow God to help her get over them and even use it to bless others. She speaks so freely about her experience as though it was nothing. So I follow her a lot. I listen to her and I get encouraged. It's one of the things I do. Yeah. And I feel free to talk about some of the things. And I allow myself to be me. And I no longer, actually, after that program, I no longer see it as building myself up because I've become too tough. Yeah, because I think there were people who really loved me for being sweet and kind. And I have to focus on that positive aspect that kept us going and heal from the pain and break the ice.
Okay, excellent. And you did also mention about Napoleon Hill's mastermind. So, in your space, how would you start implementing that to help others to be able to grow?
Okay, so as the accounts manager, I am fortunate to have a very beautiful team I work with. In my own space, I built a platform that we all learn from. We share ideas. When anyone wants to learn anything about our profession or the way we do our job, we put it there. And from the time I discovered the leadership platform about a year and a half ago, every week I post the adverts, they join. Sometimes on Monday mornings, depending on how busy it is, we discuss what we heard and learn from them. Yeah. And in my own personal space, I have friends, they are my go-to people. Sometimes there are people that when we are reading a book, we start a book together and we recommend books to each other so that and if it's a business idea, we discuss. And I've started, yes, I've started a firm with a few friends where we provide bookkeeping services to small businesses. So I hope on my friends who have a lot of experience in auditing and all, so they guide me. So I've built my own professional and personal space. I have, let's say, someone I'll call my prayer partner. I have an accountability partner when it comes to checking how I eat. I love food. So yeah, her duty is to make sure I don't put on any more weight. So yes, so I try. I'm building the mastermind groups. We meet online mostly because of busy work and family life, but we are making it work.
Excellent. Great, great, awesome. And now to my sextant presenter. You did say something that we should have a strategy to be in our we should have a strategy for love in our business. How are you living that out?
Okay. Yeah. The good thing is that laugh is natural to some of us. That's why we laugh a lot. So what I've started doing is that in our school, teachers, the salary is not so good, and sometimes they can be demoralized. So what I do is that at least once a month, I give them free breakfast. Yesterday, the first Friday of the month, I give them breakfast, full
Wow.
fledged breakfast, and
Awesome.
then just to motivate them to say thank you for the good job they are doing, and then also after we were through with the 15 invaluable laws of growth with Uncle Sam, I learned so much. And one of the best ways to keep what you have learned is to share it. So I sat my teachers down and told them that I want us to go through this book. I know you are busy, but at least once in a month, we all agree that once a month, I think the second Friday of every month, we'll go through a chapter. So we decided that if it would take us even a year to finish the book, we would do that. And we started, and the insights we are all enjoying. I can see gradually they are all growing. So these are all the lab strategies because I want them to grow. And I tell them that it doesn't matter whether you have been at school for 1 month, you should live a different person. Your life and your story should never be the same. So these are some of the things we are doing. Then with our customers who are our parents, and we communicate with them in a nice way. We let them feel the love that we care. We are not just here to make money, but we care about the children that are in our care. So that's how we are going about. I'm going about it. Thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much, ladies. Now to the gentleman. Sam, I'll leave the gentleman to you, and then you can follow on with the comments if you have any questions for
All
Alex.
right, all right. Well, Alex, just one of the points, and I love the way you put it. Um, when you reformulated a breach of common sense is a breach of school rules, as Prof said in his former school, and you said a breach of common sense is a breach of life rules. That was very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Can you share with us some of the, you know, some of the commonsensical things that you think, you know, going forward, you're going to try to, have live by? What are some of the things that you think, are basic life rules that we should, take them as common sense and live by? I mean, personally, can you share a couple with us?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. So yes, as you said, it is something that really struck me. Once you breach common sense, you are breaching school rules, and then, as I said, life rules. So I was just thinking about it in this context. To rise or to become great, there's a price you need to pay.
Mm,
Okay, and so if common sense tells you that you need to wake up early, you need to work hard, you need to. So I was just personalizing it. So there are certain times
mhm,
you've closed for work and you know there's a report you need to write, there's something you need to do, but again you need to hang out with your boys, you need to go and have a sitting, there's a Friday you need to. So in that respect, you you there's certain things you need to do, you need to travel to go and chill, you need to save. You want to become rich, you can't spend your money anyhow and expect to become rich. And so those are simple commonsensical things that we take for granted, but it comes back later to come and hurt us. It's believed that if you spend your money buying unnecessary things, you resell the important ones to take off your needs. And so it just struck me some basic things that you need to. If you don't get enough sleep, you are harming your body. You may not feel
mm.
it now, but over a very long time you start having effect as you age. And so it was in that context, certain basic common sense sensical things in life, if you take for granted, then you are taking life for granted. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Beautiful.
This
Beautiful.
is really amazing. And like Sarah, I was taking a lot of notes. I have plenty notes here, as if I'm living live to lead again. And so I just want to thank all of you. It's been great sharing with you. But guys on the call, please share what you're learning or relearning, as some of us are doing here. And if you have any questions, please share. I see Douglas is here. Douglas, you are welcome. I see William Darfur is here. Richie Skin from Sunyani is here. Richie, thank you for joining. Dorothy Akins is here. Hi, everybody, she says. I'm seeing Dennis Ahe from Sakumono. Good. I'm not seeing any questions.
No
Please
question.
share your takeaways and if any questions. Doris Arthur is here. And Doris, thank you. So he says, thanks for sharing with us, watching from Accra. And Avoca Clement said, thank you, Ma. Well, we don't know which of the moms because there are four of them on the call. And so, so they can share that one. And I just want to maybe encourage everybody to if you have any questions, share. But at this point, I think we are getting a bit close. So maybe Sarah will go around and ask our participants to make their closing remarks. But
Exactly.
as you do your closing remarks, my question to you is, what do you say to people out there listening who didn't attend Live to Lead? What would be your recommendation to them? So share your closing remark with us as you answer that question. And
Definitely.
I'll start with Alex, since the
Exactly.
ladies are trying to bully him.
Thank you. Thank you so much, CTL. I am really grateful. I must say that. Okay, let me start with my closing remarks first. So, as I said, Marco's presentation really got me. The concept about love, and so as a leader, you need to believe in love. Okay, the rationale behind why you do what you do for your team should be love, and then it will go a long way too. I mean, he spoke about an instance where if even people leave organizations, I mean, they go at loggerheads with them. So it's like the person doesn't never existed. They delete every record, and they even start badmouthing him. After all, he wasn't good enough. It was all because while the person was there, there was not that that love did not exist. Okay, and then if you look at Mr. Techi's example, if that love was not there, there was no way he could have picked the phone to call his former boss that I wanted to come back or I needed an opportunity again. So we should believe in the love factor as leaders, and I know it will go a long way to help us. I must recommend Live to Lead to everyone. I must say that last year I watched the recorded version in my school, but as one of the panelists said, this year's in person was amazing. If you've not made up your mind yet, next year's date is out. I'm admonishing everyone to start planning towards it and then join. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alex. I'll go now to Gifty. Gifty, over to you for your pattern remarks to us.
Once again, I want to thank CTL for this great opportunity. And then the Live to Lead program, for me, when I saw the amount, it scared me. I was like, 2000 cedi and then Ghana. So I told Uncle Sam that he should give me a discount. He said no. Then knowing the value in what I'll get, I made the payment. Actually, I was even finally given a discount, and it's been a life transforming experience. Why, aside what was shared, the kind of people you meet there. For the first time, I spoke to Professor Frimpong Boateng, took his contacts, and my parenting journey. There's a program we run for fathers where we interview them. So I told him we want to bring him on board. And if I were not there, I would not have. There's no way I would have gotten the opportunity to talk to him, let alone having his contact. And then the content, what was shared, sometimes you don't hear them anywhere. Oftentimes we follow the money, but there's always a price to pay for you to be who you want to be. Growth is expensive, and it doesn't come easily. So I encourage all of us, all of you out there, don't miss out. Start planning for next year. Next year, God willing, I will be there. No matter how much will be charged, I'll pay him there because I know what I'll get from it. So Uncle Sam and your team, thank you so much. We are grateful and keep up the good work. You are impacting generations indeed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gifty. This is why we do what we do, to impact and leave a legacy. So now, Failatu, and then last but not the least, Audrey.
Okay. My closing remarks will all center on what I've discussed already, that you need to have courage to speak about your experiences because that is how you defeat the situation and get other people to be blessed by what you've gone through. Whatever you experience in life is not just for you, it's for the generations ahead so that other people don't have to live 5 or 6 years of their life in setback experiencing the same thing you did. So share it with courage and with joy. And also to think about how the storm defines you. For me, my experience from Live to Lead really gave me a paradigm shift in my thinking of how the storm defines me because it could actually end up wrongly. Yeah, so think about how the storms in your life have defined you. If they've damaged any part of the beautiful you, then please allow yourself to get back on your feet and then deal with the pain. And for my experience with Live to Live, it's been nothing but amazing. I was really glad. I remember when I told my boss about it, she was like, "Why are you not telling me? We could have planned something big." Yeah, so I am expecting that next year my company would also sponsor some people. This time it was personal, so I didn't tell a lot of people. And I hope that many more people from my company will also join. And whoever is out there, please start planning for it and come. It's a good experience. Is you as you've listened to us, I believe we've not been able to give you as much as you would have had on your own if you came in because we all have our personal definitions of our lives and how we want to interpret the things that we hear. And listening to the people, coming into contact with them, the atmosphere alone is also a whole learning experience where you sit down and hear people tell you what they've been through. So come, let's be together on the 4th of October 2024 and enjoy Live to Live, Lead to Live, learn, and then grow together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Failatu. And now, can we have Audrey?
Great. I think that everybody has said everything. They've taken the words out of my mouth, and the takeaways are amazing. And more importantly, your presence there helps. But in my closing remarks, I would say that whenever we hear something new, it's always important in the midst of it when we've gotten that information fresh in our minds and the excitement or the inspiration is there. We need to act. C. Maxwell said that people didn't speak their way to success or write their way to success or even decide their way to success. They actually acted their way to success. So in everything is the action that matters. First of all, we take the decision, but we need to act on it. That's what's more important. And so in rounding up, I think that we've learned a lot. Those of us who were on, even some of us that were even part, there are different dimensions our colleagues have also brought on board. And I've also taken some notes that I sudden like immediately start acting on. So I would say that please don't next year, as you said, the date is already out. Let's start planning actively towards it because the lessons and the opportunities and what we learn from them are from Live to Lead. I mean, both local and international is invaluable. And so I would entreat us all to be there. Thank you and have a good evening and a good weekend.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So the invaluable takeaways from Live to Lead. Sam, over to you to close us.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, good ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for all the wonderful thing. As somebody says, all of them presented very well, and Ama could say powerful. So we thank all of you, and we thank all of you for joining. Those who connected and spoke on the platform and share. And those who didn't even share, we know you are there. So we thank all of you. And until next week, when we come your way again with another session of the platform, sharing lessons on leadership and personal growth, we want to encourage all of us to take good care of us, of ourselves, and to find space tomorrow for God as we look for opportunity to worship God in the churches as we grow. So have a good night and see you again next week. Bye-bye. I'd like to welcome all of you warmly to LIVE2LEAD 2023. This will be our 7th year hosting LIVE2LEAD.
To me, development is not those and things, but to what extent people will live independent lives so that they can feed, grow, shelter, defend, and protect themselves.
A legacy-minded leader is somebody who looks beyond his own circles, his own self-interest, and even dares to look beyond generations after him.
Then you know the person is a leader, because that's legacy. They are thinking of tomorrow. They've gone beyond today.
I came to this program, LIVE2LEAD 2023, to improve or to add value upon myself. That was my expectation.
If I didn't learn anything, I've learned that leaders pay a price, and it takes paying the price to be a leader and be able to pull others even beyond where you have reached. So yes, it's been a very impactful session.
Sort of amazing. It's been engaging from the morning section up to now. We have learned and are going to impact the next generation. It's a must attend for next year. Join next year and don't miss out. Thank you very much.
Why is LIVE2LEAD important? I think it is embedded in the very aim of the conference, LIVE2LEAD. Our purpose as human beings is to lead.